But let's talk to Sacha Lord, nighttime economy advisor, knows a thing or two about how the businesses are all going. Sacha, very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Mike.
So there's a bit of I said that this was a bit of a chink of light, perhaps, in the rather dark days that hospitality has been facing, and probably for people with common sense and brains, not that surprising.
Well, it is, and it is. Just to reiterate, as you said, it's a slight chink out of months and months of absolute misery, especially on the back of the disastrous budget.
Yeah.
But local large-scale brewery in Greater Manchester reported in the last 2 weeks, in their beer gardens across the whole of the region, they were up between 35 and 64% year on year. That is huge. That is a huge, huge boost for the economy. The flip side is, obviously, the beer gardens are packed when the weather's out and it's nice and hot. But who wants to sit indoors inside a pub when the sun's out? So when you didn't have a beer garden or you didn't have a car park where you could put tables and chairs out, unfortunately, they were quiet. Again, the good news for those with beer gardens is next week the weather is looking like it's going to turn to sun again. So again, another chink of positivity.
Yes, exactly right. But what are the figures like at the moment in terms of hospitality businesses, pubs in particular, I suppose, going out of business? Because the rate of that was quite big last year, wasn't it?
Mike, it's completely disastrous. The budget was the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
No one expected the increase in national insurance, which, by the way, people are now doing their monthly payroll. It's the end of April, and people are now saying to me, wow, we're starting to realise how badly this is affecting us. You've got that, plus on top of that, an increase in business rates.
Yeah.
It's double whammy. And what's a kick in the teeth for hospitality when the Labour Party was saying, we are the party for hospitality, we're going to support you? Well, they're clearly not. And my point I was making yesterday, Mike, on social media was, look, you are the home of common sense, aren't you?
We are.
And I'm saying, OK, it's great to have these beer gardens, but the vast majority of pubs don't have beer gardens. And we all remember the alfresco dining come COVID, when we had streets in all our towns and city centres, when it was fun and we had tables and chairs out on the streets. Well, let's do that again for hospitality. You cannot financially support them. So what you can do this summer is increase their capacity, let them have more footfall, give them tables and give them chairs, expedite the law, cut the red tape, and that would be a huge boost for the sector.
Yeah, and does that come down, a lot of it, to local councils and how sort of jobs-worthy they are in terms of whether you can't have that there? I mean, I remember during the COVID times, we used to go to a pub around the corner and a sort of marshal appeared one day to say, you're standing too close to the pub, you'll have to go and stand over there. And we were like, it's literally 5 foot difference. What are you doing? And the pub owner said to us, this guy turns up every now and again and just makes life difficult for us.
It is completely ridiculous. It actually needs changing by central government.
Yeah.
But I was the person during that COVID period who challenged Matt Hancock, at the time was a health secretary. Dropped the 10 p.m. curfew and the substantial meal ruling, the Scotch egg ruling. And the more I look back to some of the laws that we all kept to during that period, it was ludicrous. It really was. And it's unforgivable. And hospitality is still carrying this debt, this burden of debt that they incurred during that period. We were the first to close, we were the last to open, especially nightclubs. And we're still suffering. There's a stat that we could lose in the next 12 months, up to 9,000 UK pubs. And, a pub is not just a pound to pint, it's about a pint. It is part of our social fabric to life. And it's devastating. It's heartbreaking, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I talked to my good friend Donald McLeod up in Scotland, who runs the garage, and he's had a terribly rough time of it, including at one point Nicola Sturgeon saying, well, you can reopen the dance floor, but people will have to wear masks to dance. And he's going, have you gone mad? It's absolutely ridiculous. And one of my favourites was where you had to wear a mask if you were walking to the toilet in the restaurant, but you had to take it off to sit down so you could eat, because obviously the COVID fumes don't reach you below waist height.
Well, I can beat that, Mike. There was one I won't mention the politician because it's embarrassing. They suggested it was safe to be on a huge packed dance floor, but then when you queued at the bar, you had to wear your mask.
Right. Yeah.
Still to this day, I'm thinking, where are you coming from? Where were you coming from?
Yeah, you think they've been on the old fumes, but there we are. Listen, Sacha, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed, Sacha Lord, the commonsensical man who knows a thing or two about opening a pub and why they make money.